like, what happens like if you've been out at a party or something and you don't get home until 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, what happens? Is like the day blown for Rana? Like, she can't straighten her hair.
Oh no, I'll still do it. What are we showing?
We cancel other things in life and we straighten the hair.
But my hair gets straightened. But unless I'm super lazy, so this is the other thing too, right? Because I could, for curly, all you do is just in the shower, out of the shower. I don't even loose it. My hair, I don't have to put any product in it. I can just walk out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean,
my sister has hair like that. It's so distressing when you always want what you can't have, right?
Yeah.
Like my hair's poker straight. Like,
really?
Yes, it's gotten a bit more, what's the word, cooperative, you know, since I had children, because your hormones change it, right? Yeah. But I mean, before that, it was like you'd put a curl and it would go like this, and it'd go, and it would just like straighten itself out.
So
it was
all that
so
effort.
upsetting.
Yeah.
Yes.
But is it true though? I mean, I wouldn't know, but like, is it true that when you have kids and the hormones change and then it's your hair and your nails, or is this just...
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because my hair never used to hold a curl like this.
But you think it's hormones, just not age?
I think it's hormones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And whether or not you have children, because your hair and the collagen, the protein, it changes as you age, right? It gets more coarse, I think, too.
Yeah. No, it does. So, anyways, thanks so much, girls, for having you or dropping by here. You know, so do you like the place?
I love it.
It's amazing.
I know.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful view, everything.
Yeah. Anyways.
What's Jazz Fest happening over there?
Yeah.
I mean, this would be the place to be.
It is. Right now in the Exchange, I know there's construction. Yeah. Everybody find parking. Isn't that like
everywhere.
Anywhere you go right now? Where do I park?
Yeah, or
just
anywhere.
Take a bus, take a
is.
tap car. You don't have to drive.
Yeah.
Tap. Okay, so we do have tap. No Uber yet, though. I don't know.
Or get your dad to drop you off, like I do.
Are you serious?
Sure.
And dads too. Father's Day just happened.
Yes.
Yeah, that was so
Okay,
sweet.
so I want to ask you girls, are you a card person? Like, you have to have a card for every occasion?
Absolutely not.
You a card person?
Okay, so I used to be a card person, and now I only do it if I see one that's really special and says something that I really wanted to say.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm the odd one out. I do cards for everything. For everything.
Why did I think that?
For everything. And so specifically for my dad.
Yeah.
So my dad's into colors. So he likes vibrant colors. He likes things that are shiny. He likes spark. I mean, just culturally, like I think that he just likes that visual. And he's super attracted to it. He just really gets excited about it. So I will seek out cards, and it might not even be for an occasion, but if I see one that says "Happy Birthday, Uncle," but it looks good,
Just cross it out.
like, here you go. But he loves it. But this weekend was my sister's birthday. My youngest sisters and my dad and Father's Day on the same day. Yeah, it's special. It's like such a nice time, and everyone's together, and it's pretty wicked.
So the reason why I bring this up, because I felt really bad. I didn't get Dad a Father's Day card. On my husband's side, they're kind of a real card people, what if that's a word?
They're tracking the cards.
Yes. But it's just like, it's nowadays like, oh, the card is like the last thing on the list, and like if you're not, and you have to still go to Hallmark or like drugstore, right? It's not. So, anyways, I was just feeling a little. Well, I guess they're on sale now for Father's Day, but they do take the cards off, right, when they're off. But I don't know.
I just totally love words of affirmation, and I think that we're in a day and age where we do, Facebook posts to our parents or to our loved ones to show our, appreciation for them, and we've lost picking up the phone or being face to face and sharing with them how we feel about them. And I think that you really lose out on that moment to truly communicate to somebody how you feel about them, because we don't do that anymore.
And for Father's Day, like for example, so my kids get invited to birthday parties, right? Well, I don't buy cards for kids' birthday parties. I tell my children to make their own cards.
There you go.
Good.
Because they're at that age where they draw and they write the cutest, sweetest things. And I still have cards from when I was like 7 or 8 from birthday parties, Valentine's Day, that I've saved, because you see their writing, you see their words, and it's so sweet. But I think to write a heartfelt note or a letter, because letters last, right? Like if your children, grandchildren, family members can look at those letters and years to come, that's so nice to have that memento. I think.
Yeah, and I was just talking with one of my clients. She's a photographer, and we were discussing like she really believes in print photography because we don't do that anymore. So she was saying, if we need a picture of her dad had passed, so they needed a picture of him.
Yeah.
She goes back to her grandmother, and when they go to the photo albums, right, that's where all the stories and the memories come out of.
Absolutely.
And for us, it's like, oh my goodness, that's on an old phone that doesn't work anymore. That I can't even retrieve the pictures off of. And so just such a difference in technology, but also how we capture memories and express them. I think we're really in this interesting day and age of how to do that.
Desensitized to it a bit, right?
Absolutely.
That's the thing too, is that when you have hundreds and hundreds of pictures, some just feels like they've lost some meaning as well, right?
How many pictures are on your phone?
I would say thousands, probably 3,000.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
So then again is like we kind of lost then also the art of card giving, of letters. I go back now to Christmas cards. I remember and I used to kind of dread
the family
it.
letter.
Yes. And now everybody sends these wonderful computer, Facebook lovely messages.
I'm also late on cards sometimes, which might come as not a surprise to anybody that knows me. I have sent Christmas cards in March and April before because I've been so far behind, and it's just like, but the sentiment is still there. Nothing perks up your spring like a card in the mail.
It's actually very true. It's actually true. I love getting mail, but you know what? I feel like I'm so lucky that to this day I still get mail.
Yeah.
Really?
Like that's meaningful mail.
Yeah,
So from who?
Just friends who are traveling, or it was just anyone, and I love it. So it's once in a while, Like who went to Bali? Like one of my friends went to Bali. Oh, my friend Jamie. Oh. Yeah, she went to Bali, and it was funny.
And sent a postcard?
I sent a postcard, and I was so excited to get it. And it was sweet, and it was meaningful, and it was a reflection of a friendship because she was away, and it was just really nice. But
all I get is flyers and bills. Suburban life, girls.
I'm
I'm sorry.
Part in that pile. I was like, oh, this is so exciting.
Or what happened? Sorry. Actually, for the very first time, I had to sit in the passenger side of my car. And
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, well, this is what happened. So I'm sitting there, and I kind of look down at the side of my seat, and I see a green envelope. And then I go, green envelope? And I said, oh, I'll pick it up. It looks like a card. It was a Christmas card from a dear friend from Vancouver, who I was thinking, why haven't I heard from her? And I got a little I was so looking, because she always does a card, and I was like a little upset.
Yes.
And then I was really upset. So here it is, like the end of June, and I find this card. So yeah.
Maybe I'll send out my Christmas cards this week.
I know.
maybe or you can always blame it on the mail. Actually,
that's true.
Let's not blame anything on post.
They have enough to deal with.
They have enough to deal with.
Well, you know what? As I'm sitting here, though, girls, I really like that color. Shayna is amazing. Just beautiful.
It's so nice.
Thank you.
So is color something that you love? Because you know what? If you open up your closet, how many of us have 10 more black dresses or black pants or black anything?
I was super guilty. I would say in the beginning of my 20s for being in love with black and white, and I would only wear black and white, and I was totally petrified of color.
As a cause? You would purposely wear?
No, I was just afraid. I think that I just didn't have. I always had the personality, but I didn't know how to outwardly show that. And so, really tried to fit in the box unconsciously, and it was maybe about my mid-20s, 25, where my first ever branding shoot for Rebrand You was when I had a stylist, and she put me in a top like this that was hot pink with a big floral skirt, and I was adamant, I only wanted to wear black and white, and she was like, no. And it just opened up this new door for me to really see how I could express myself through color. So now I gravitate to everything. Of course, I have my signature brand colors that I wear for certain things, but other than that, color is so much fun.
It is.
And once you find the colors that work for you, right? Because not all hues or tones.
Yes. I like that.
Not all of them work for you, right?
And when you love a color and you know it doesn't work for you, it's so upsetting because you're like, I want to wear that color, but you can't wear that shade.
Yes.
You're able to wear a different shade in that family,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. So never write off a color. It's just that shade.
Yeah.
Or that hue,
like
as it were.
And being open enough with yourself to understand that, because I think, you know, working in retail before, like many of us have, we all know those people who have walked in and, you know, we know they shouldn't buy something, and not everybody is honest about that. You know, some people are like, that's not for you, and we love those people. But then we definitely know that there's some sales associates who want to make their sale or their commission, or just don't care or don't have the knowledge, right? Like,
I used to work in retail selling blue jeans, right?
Okay. Have we all been in retail?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I think
I've retail warriors,
really?
Retail
well,
warriors.
my retail though was at Malabar, so selling dancewear. So tell me. Well, someone used to walk into the store and I would know immediately what size they are and what pair to put them in, right? I know, I can still do it too. But it was really difficult to break them out of what they thought they should be in versus what they would really shine in, right? So you'd let them take the pair that they wanted to into the dressing room, and then you would say, you'd throw over the door, you know, here's a couple more suggestions, and you know, let's see how these look, you know, and what you think about them. And undoubtedly, they would step out into the dressing room and they would think, wow, these fit so great, these are what I've been looking for, because they think it's their body, right? They hate what their hips do, what their waist is. Just like, no, you just need to find the right jean or the right pair of pants for you. Well, because it really is out there.
And sometimes you forget that tailoring happens, right? Like things off the rack don't necessarily fit all the time, and it doesn't mean that it's your body. It just means you need to take some things in or take it to a tailor, and then it will look like it was made for you, right?
And tailoring is your best friend. I feel like if you are not, and there is no normal size, and I hate that conversation because I feel like it's so. It makes you feel so self-conscious, right? Like we all have, we all have different sizes, and I mean, we all went through this this weekend with me, right? Like
or you think you're a certain size, and you are in that store, but you're
not everywhere.
You're not that size.
Completely different.
But I feel like we haven't kind of perfected the art, and maybe tailoring is not as mainstream as it needs to be. But in this, like, we are not all a small, medium, or large. I'm sorry. Like we are, like I for tops, and we've had this conversation. Because of like my upper half.
Beautiful aesthetic.
Some of my tops are large, and then I have to get them taken in. But then everything else is small, right? So I mean, it's a little bit of an extra cost, and I think that maybe because when we go shopping, we're just pick and wear, and you know, just get what we can with kids and family and life, and your budget's not really kind of incorporating this extra cost. But you'll feel $1 million when something's tailored to your body.
But I think it's such a misconception. We have such great services. You know, as an image consultant, that's part of what I do, and taking people to do personal shopping is such an experience that I think everybody should invest in, because it comes down to more than just your colors. It's the product knowledge. How is this going to wash and wear? You know, even being able to say today, the pants that I'm wearing, they're Bangaline. I know that they're going to, within an hour, they are going to stretch, and if I don't want to deal with that, then maybe that's not the right investment piece for me. You know, understanding your budget and how to build a 10-piece wardrobe that can go with you for the next, you know, 6 months. And I do that, you know, for my clients, being able to set them up with the things that work for them. But then
they'll feel great in.
Well, and that's the other thing, as women, right? We're talking about the year of the women. We're talking about, you know, what is it? The female is future and all of that.
Oh, the future is female.
The future is female. There we go. And you know what? We're in a time where we need to feel powerful. We need to feel special. And you know what? What you have on really helps you to outwardly show that. It boosts your confidence,
right?
Yeah,
for sure. It changes how you react to the world, how the world reacts to you. The kind of confidence that you carry yourself in. And also, I mean, look, a lot of us are in industries and businesses, you know, and I think all of us are we all have, we're all self-employed. We all have our own businesses, and it's a tough world, right? And you got to really hustle, and to be able to be taken seriously, your blazer needs to fit, and your skirt needs to be perfect, and you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, and especially you know, in the world of politics. And I just find it fascinating too, because you've made such great relationships now with the Indigenous community, and there's a lot of ties in.
I love my heart.
I know, and so Is everything that we hear true, or like, and I'm talking about the media and everything like that, and because you see things at grassroots level.
I'm an open book about this. I don't buy into, and I think that we shouldn't buy into media spins and I don't say this as a negative. I think that sometimes the dig for what is factual needs to be a bit deeper, right? And I think that it's really easy to just perpetuate some stereotype that's been there for a really long time without actually knowing factual information or how something got to the point that it did. So for me, I mean, I'm an open book about this. I don't think that there's any group, and I 100% hold this to be true, that are as strong, as vibrant, as kind, as beautiful, as passionate, as inviting as the Indigenous population, and specifically in Manitoba. And the second part of it is, you know, for me personally, it kind of irks me because, you know, you see all these women's panels and all these things about women in leadership, and you know, you have your prime minister coming out and talking about feminism. All right, you know what? I'm down. I am. I'm totally supportive. I will support it till the end of time, because I don't think it's one or the other. Yeah. But there needs to be a specific understanding and acknowledgement that women of color, and especially Indigenous women, their battles, their challenges, and everything that they deal with is much different than the feminism that they're talking about. And until you start to recognize that, you start lifting up the vulnerable, I don't want to hear about it because I don't believe it to be true. No one needs to be a token. We don't need to be tokens. Yes. Right? I don't need to be the token brown person in any room. Yeah. And I think that a lot of us feel that way sometimes. And I personally am over it. Yeah. Right? I don't deal with it. I don't accept it. I don't engage in it, you know, and I'll call it out as much as possible. But yeah, like for me, I have so much respect for that population and that leadership and who they are and what they're about, because I can feel it in my heart every day.
Do you feel that times have changed though, like in this day and age with everything and the freedoms that we all have? Why are we still talking about this? Because I am sure that all of us at one point, you know, even last week or whatever, experienced something, and it could be as minute as small a thing, or it can be something bigger. And it's hard, especially when you have kids too, right?
Well, for example, I'm reading something online last week, and it was talking about celebrating Canada giving women the right to vote. And every time I hear that phrase, it really irks me, because it wasn't all women. And that bothers me as a woman, you know, with a background that is not necessarily, you know, white Anglo-Saxon. It's just like, it wasn't all women though. And I think that until feminism truly embraces inclusivity and embraces everyone and says, you know what, you're right, there's an asterisk on that, and it wasn't all women. And when I hear people acknowledging, saying, wait, hold on, it wasn't everyone, it's like, okay, you need to take note of that, because it's important. And it erases part of the history that people don't want to look at anymore and don't want to talk about. And we're still not there. And so, and that goes for, you can extend that into the LGBTQ community as well. And it's just like, we need to look at exclusive and inclusive spaces, and how people are being marginalized, and how we can bring them into the fold with movements, and how we move all of us forward, all of us forward.
To piggyback off of that, you know, we're in a time where we're bringing up the conversations, right? And so it's great to have dialogue, but there's been no execution, right? So, okay, it's one thing to announce that there's a problem, right? And there's another thing to say, let's get together and talk about inclusion, and let's get together and talk about the issues. But really, I haven't seen personally any true execution on what that is. And I think that, you know, when we look at rights for women, for different communities, different ethnicities, right? Then we look at the fact that, you know what, we all are operating from a place of lack. And, you know, we have a different dialogue that takes place than, you know, who these conversations, the people who are having the conversations, right? And there's just a scope of understanding that will never happen until you walk in a person of color's shoes.
100%.
You just won't get it. And so there's an openness that needs to happen, just like we're talking about with the Indigenous community. There has to be an opening to want to understand, right? Like, not come with a solution, but just have a place of trying to understand.
Right. Sorry, but and I appreciate you actually even saying that, and it's everyone. So this is my issue too. It's like, okay, so if you do call it out,
right,
everyone's so offended.
Yeah.
Like you are so offended.
Yeah.
You are so incredibly offended. You are so fragile that it is your ego that we should be concerned about, rather than the harm, the injustice, the challenges.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about your ego, and I'm not. But because no one like. When we're having that conversation, I don't believe that any of us are having it to specifically call out an individual and say you specifically have done this wrong. I don't think that that's unless you're going to play ignorant.
Right.
Yes, but we have to remember too that a lot of people can't call those things out because they have jobs that depend on what their bosses see and hear, and colleagues and things like that. So I think we, or people who are self-employed or who don't have that kind of beholdenness to them, are in unique positions to call out things like that. Like in 2018, I am done with manels. Really? I am done with whitewashing and explaining things away, and I'm done with panels that do not represent the full spectrum of people, including women.
We're not a panel here.
No, not at all.
But what's more frustrating than panels? Susie, really?
Manels.
Right.
Okay,
but I'm able to, take that online and say, like, you know what, this is really suspect, and this is, in 2018, this does not belong here. We need to be more exclusive about what we present as experts and who we put on stage and who we allowed whose voice to be heard. And when people, institutions, organizations are blind to that, it's boggling my mind in 2018. But I don't believe it's necessarily out of malice all the time. It's just because no one said anything. So I think that everyone has to feel empowered to say something.
Well, I think it's a responsibility, right? I think that as a woman, I feel a responsibility to the upcoming women. I feel a responsibility to women who are older than me that didn't. We're in a day and age where we get to have dialogue. My mom's 67 years old. She said we never had discussions like this. Like you just dealt with it, swallowed it, and kept it moving. So she's amazed at how much we share. And some people overshare, right? But we're also in a day and age where, you know what, the internet could connect somebody who's having an issue, right? None of us met each other in person. We all connected through a mode of social media. I think probably first, or networking, maybe, but it's technology that allows us to bring each other together, and then for a cause. And so I think that we've also, stepped into this position where a lot of people don't know what they stand for anymore, right? And so because we don't have a strong position on things, it's very hard to voice something. So I think first we really need to get in terms with of who we are and own who you are as a woman, as a professional,
and know
all
what
of
your
those
principles
things
are.
Absolutely, and your
Know what your
values,
principles
right?
are. Absolutely.
And then your messaging can come from there. So what you believe in, you should see that everywhere. We always talk about being the brand, like I'm Shayna Robinson first, and that is my first brand. And what I believe in, you should see through everything I do.
Exactly.
Whether you like it, love it, or hate it, I don't really care, as long as I'm good with it. And so I think we just need more people to stand in their truth and operate from that.
And I think we need people to question their truth.
Good.
So if you believe something, you need to ask yourself why.
That's
Who
great.
told you to believe that? Who told you that was okay? And as a mom of 3 children, they ask me questions all the time, like, well, why does it say that? And I'm like, I don't know why, actually. That's a great question. And then I find myself thinking, I wonder who put that, in place, and why was that there, and why was that considered acceptable? But they are so amazingly in tune with injustice and with people being marginalized and people being put on the outside. They see it. Children see it, and they feel it. And they're looking up to us to say why it is that way, and if it's not the way that it should be, can we change it? And you're seeing that, with children taking charge, in the States, with gun laws and things like that. These kids are so smart, they are so connected, and they're not having it anymore, which I think is amazing and awesome.
Well, it is. So the parents are to be congratulated. I'm not too sure about that. I think it has a lot to the environment, social media, the internet. A lot of us never had that.
And I think it's interesting.
Shayna, you did, but
but just letting them ask questions. Like when we grew up, I don't know that we were allowed to ask that many questions.
And being first gen too, like the structure of your home and how your homes function
and how
are
you
so
view,
different. Exactly.
How you view the outside world, it's very different.
Very different.
So these are, second generation Canadians now, and they are full Canadians. They embrace everything about this country and what they love, and they look at this and they just go, well, that's not right. And you're like, you're 100% right. It isn't right at all. We need to fix that. Yeah.
And that's the criticalness, right? And just going back to that very first conversation I had, and you asked, you know, there's all these conversations and people talking, and that's, you know, I don't think you need to believe everything you hear.
I know, it's
you don't
hard,
you don't need to believe everything you hear. And I think that even on that note, I think that ignorance, in my personal view, and a lot of people don't agree with this, it's not an excuse to me. I don't find ignorance is not an excuse, because I don't think that you do not know what is happening, because it's everywhere. You could see it on the street, you could see it behind doors, and people are having the conversation. So don't tell me that you are ignorant, because if you felt that a conversation was happening and you did not have that knowledge, go and read about it. Go seek out the proper way to research this, and maybe we need to learn how to do some research,
but also be bold enough to ask, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know,
and that's the problem, you know, because I mean, and we all are, because we just want to fit in, we just want to be, you know, it's so important to belong. And I mean, we've had that, and even with children like that, they just want to belong.
Yeah, and you want to feel good about the choices you've made, right?
Exactly.
Thus far, even. So you have to take that ego out of the equation and go, you know, maybe I don't know why I believe this. Maybe I don't know why this is happening, and that's okay. And you know, like you said, you know, being online as much as we are, a lot of the time you find yourself typing out this long, you know, diatribe answer. You're just like, you know what? Google's free. Educate yourself. You know, I cannot educate you on everything you need to know. There are so many resources. Go to Rainbow Center and volunteer. Go to an Indigenous Friendship Center and volunteer. You know, there are so many things that you can do to immerse yourself in what you see as a problem and figure out how it really works, and maybe be a part of the solution instead.
Well, I know I gathered you girls for some reason. That's so I can get all the knowledge I need to know about this city. But you know what? Just sitting here in the Exchange, and Jazz Fest musicians are starting to play, and you know what? I still feel fortunate. I still feel fortunate to being here in this particular city. I know that you travel back and forth to Toronto, and you're going off to Miami. I'm a little jealous. I do love Miami. You know, please have a drink at the Delano for me. I know, but yeah, and for yourself, Susie, so connected, and you know, there's a lot of issues for parents and moms in particular. Yeah, I just it's so nice and refreshing to sit and chat with you. So
have good conversation.
So who's hungry? And who wants a drink?
Always.
Mark, is Mark? Oh, hey. It's that time. I think it's noon somewhere in the world.
Would you like to see the menus today?
Yes,
I heard you had a special.
We do have a special. It is our cold brew featured tea, which is actually called Respect Your Elders.
Oh, right on. That's my jam.
Elderberry, red and black currant, and hibiscus tea.
I say 4 around.
I think we're good. Sounds
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Get those for you right now.
Perfect.
All right, so, okay, so my next talk, as we were talking shoes. Any good places for shoes?
I love shopping online for shoes.
I know.
Really?
But how do you shop online? Like
Aldo's my
but
favorite.
you know your size, though?
Brands, but brand.
But you know, but what happens? Because you know, like
I
sometimes
buy online and I wear them and I love
you
them.
might like buy 9 pairs of shoes.
And if you don't love them, you just return them to the store. That's the beauty of it.
Oh, you can. So you get online, return to the store.
Oh yes. It is genius.
That is okay. That's a lot more convenient. Because I was like, am I gonna throw it back in the mail?
No, you're not.
That's just irritating.
I can see little Rana shoving
like shoving it in
shoe boxes.
You can even pick up
with
in
the
store.
rage, right? Because you know I wouldn't be calm about that.
Aldo's great, and like their customer service is awesome too. I'm personally like I do all my shopping in the States, so I'm a huge Burlington's girl. You know, go in just for my shoes. That's the only thing I get there is my shoes, and they're totally great.
Okay, I might just give you my size, and you can be like, Rana, do you want these?
So I totally shop and ship.
Yeah.
To our other topic about
This looks great.
beautiful. To our other topic about sizing, right? Like how you fit a certain shoe size here, but don't fit that size there. Yeah, sometimes you just have to try them on.
And especially if the companies are Canadian and U.S.
Or
right?
European even
Or
sometimes.
European.
Totally different. Yeah.
All right, cheers, girls.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The most delicious tea. Try it.
Oh, it smells great.
This smells good.